Welcome to your go-to channel for mastering English. Today, we're embarking on an incredible 5-day English speaking challenge focused on shadowing. By the end of this video, you won't just have learned new English phrases. You'll feel a powerful surge of motivation to speak English fluently and confidently. The story of Kael and the Whispering Willow. A journey to fluent English. Once, in a quiet village nestled beside a shimmering river, lived a young man named Kael. Kael had a dream, a big dream, to travel the world and share his village's beautiful stories, its ancient traditions, and its unique crafts with people from far-off lands. He envisioned himself speaking eloquently, connecting with diverse cultures, and inspiring others with the tales of his homeland. But there was one significant hurdle, a towering wall that seemed to stand between him and his aspirations: his English. He understood much of the language. He could read simple texts, grasp the general meaning of conversations, and even write basic sentences. However, when it came to speaking, it felt like navigating a dense fog. His tongue felt heavy, words often tangled and tripped, and his carefully constructed sentences would collapse into hesitant fragments. His confidence wavered, replaced by a wave of anxiety every time he had to utter more than a few words. The dream of fluent communication often felt like a distant, unattainable star. One sunny afternoon, while walking by the ancient Whispering Willow, a majestic tree renowned throughout the village for its rustling leaves that sounded like gentle, murmuring voices, Kael overheard something extraordinary. A traveler, a woman with bright, curious eyes and a warm smile, was sitting beneath the willow. She wasn't talking to anyone in particular, but was narrating her journey aloud, describing the places she had seen and the people she had met. Her English was clear, melodious, and flowed with an effortless grace that captivated Kael. The traveler spoke of the vibrant, bustling markets of Marrakesh, the serene, snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas, and the heartwarming generosity of strangers met along dusty roads. Kael, mesmerized, found himself unconsciously mimicking the rhythm, the intonation, and even the subtle pauses in the traveler's speech. It was as if the willow itself, with its whispering leaves, was guiding him, encouraging him to shadow the words, to echo the sounds he heard. A tiny spark ignited within him, a realization that perhaps, just perhaps, this was a pathway to unlock his own voice. Day 1. The first whisper of confidence. Kael returned to the willow the very next day, a small, worn notebook and a pencil clutched firmly in his hand. The same traveler was there, engrossed in recounting an adventure in a bustling, colorful market. The vibrant colors, the traveler articulated, the aromatic spices, the lively chatter of vendors, the cheerful haggling over prices, the rich tapestry of life unfolding before my very eyes. Kael listened intently, his brow furrowed in concentration, then whispered, almost imperceptibly, the vibrant colors, the aromatic spices, the lively chatter of vendors, the cheerful haggling, the rich tapestry of life. He wasn't merely repeating the words. He was trying, with every fiber of his being, to match the traveler's pace, her emphasis, the subtle rise and fall of her voice. He focused on the precise sounds, the way the traveler formed each consonant and vowel. He felt a profound spark of connection between the traveler's confident words and his own tentative, yet hopeful voice. It was a sensation he hadn't experienced before, a direct link between listening and speaking, bypassing the usual mental blocks. That evening, back in his cozy cottage, illuminated by the soft glow of a lantern, Kael continued his practice. He took simple English phrases he knew, common greetings, basic descriptions, and tried to speak them with the same natural flow he'd heard from the traveler. "This is delicious," he'd articulate, mimicking an imaginary conversation about a meal. "Thank you so much for your kindness. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" Each repetition, each careful imitation, felt a little smoother, a little less forced. The initial awkwardness and self-consciousness began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of possibility, a burgeoning belief in his own capacity to produce these sounds. He meticulously wrote down new words and phrases, noting down the nuances of their pronunciation. He even tried speaking to his reflection in the small, polished mirror, observing his mouth movements, trying to align them with the sounds he was producing. This dedicated, focused practice was the cornerstone of his first day. Day 2. Finding your own unique resonance. The next morning, driven by a quiet determination, Kael sought out a different traveler by the willow. This time, it was a woman describing a serene mountain hike, her voice calm and steady, her words painting vivid pictures. "The crisp, invigorating air," the woman articulated. "The panoramic, breathtaking views stretching for miles. The feeling of absolute peace and profound solitude at the summit, far above the world." Kael closed his eyes, visualizing the scene with remarkable clarity, the cool breeze on his skin, the vastness of the landscape, the quiet tranquility. Then he echoed, "The crisp, invigorating air, the panoramic, breathtaking views, the feeling of absolute peace and profound solitude." This time, he noticed his own voice gaining a subtle strength, a hint of resonance that hadn't been there before. He wasn't just a parrot mindlessly repeating. He was an echo, a reflection, beginning to infuse his own understanding and emotion into the sounds. He was starting to understand that shadowing wasn't just about imitation, but about internalizing the rhythm and melody of English. Later that day, he found an old English children's book, filled with simple, repetitive sentences. He read the sentences aloud, then reread them, trying to imitate the cadence and natural rhythm of a confident, fluent speaker. "The little red hen," he enunciated carefully, "found a grain of wheat, a tiny seed of possibility." He repeated it several times, focusing intently on the sounds, the rise and fall of his voice, the connection between words. It was challenging, demanding immense concentration and effort, but the tangible progress, however small each step seemed, was immensely motivating. He started to understand that fluency wasn't about perfect grammar from the very first utterance, but about building muscle memory for sounds, for patterns, for the natural flow of spoken language. He spent hours repeating nursery rhymes and simple dialogues, feeling his tongue and lips adapt to the new movements. He even tried to read along with an audiobook version of the children's story, letting the native speaker's voice guide him home. This active engagement with the material deepened his understanding and improved his pronunciation. Day 3. Stepping out into the world of spoken English. By the third day, Kael felt a renewed sense of purpose, a burgeoning confidence that energized his steps towards the Whispering Willow. Today, his practice shifted slightly. He wasn't just listening to strangers' tales. He started narrating his own thoughts in simple, clear English, whispering them softly to the gentle wind that rustled through the willow's leaves. "The river flows gently today," he articulated, observing the water's serene movement. "The sun feels warm and comforting on my skin, a blessing from the sky. The birds sing a joyful song, welcoming the new day." It was a tiny step, a seemingly insignificant act of speaking to himself, but it was a profoundly significant one. He was applying the shadowing technique to his own internal monologue, making English a natural, integrated part of his everyday thinking and perception. He even tried to shadow the sounds around him, transforming his environment into a dynamic language laboratory. The chirping of birds. "Chirp, chirp, chirp," he'd repeat, mimicking the high-pitched sounds. The rustling of leaves in the breeze. "Swish, swish, swish," he'd articulate, trying to capture the soft, airy sound. The distant bleating of sheep. "Baa, baa, baa." This playful, immersive approach made the learning process enjoyable, less intimidating, and more organic. He realized that learning English could be an exciting, continuous experience, not just a series of dry grammar rules and vocabulary lists confined to a book. He started to see and describe everything around him in English, forming silent sentences in his mind, then whispering them aloud. This active engagement transformed his perception of his surroundings, making English a part of his lived experience. Day 4. Embracing imperfection and diverse voices. On the fourth day, a new traveler arrived at the Willow, a man with a booming laugh and a slightly different English accent, perhaps a regional variation, or one influenced by another language. Kael, at first, hesitated. His ingrained desire for perfect imitation, for an exact match, almost held him back. The initial discomfort with this new sound made him pause. But then he remembered the Willow's unspoken lesson: embrace every sound, every voice, every nuance of the language. English was a global language, spoken in countless ways, and true fluency meant understanding and adapting to this rich diversity. He took a deep breath and began to shadow this new accent, not perfectly, of course, but with an open mind and a willingness to adapt. "The journey was long," the traveler boomed, "but incredibly rewarding, filled with unexpected discoveries and unforgettable moments." Kael repeated, his mouth and tongue adapting, stretching, and forming new shapes to accommodate the unfamiliar sounds, the different rhythm. "The journey was long," he echoed, "but incredibly rewarding." He focused on conveying the meaning, not just exact sound replication. This experience taught him a crucial, liberating lesson. Fluency isn't about eradicating one's own natural accent or achieving a robotic, perfect imitation. It's about clear, confident, and effective communication. He started to appreciate the beautiful diversity of English speakers around the world and became less afraid of making mistakes. Each mispronounced word, each stumble, was no longer a failure but merely another step on his path to improvement, a valuable piece of feedback for his brain and vocal cords. He understood that shadowing was a powerful tool for building confidence and adaptability, not just for achieving theoretical perfect pronunciation. He began to listen to different English accents online, actively trying to understand and even mimic some of their characteristics, expanding his auditory comfort zone. This conscious exposure to variety prepared him for real-world interactions. Day 5. The confident voice emerges. The final day dawned bright, clear, and filled with a sense of anticipation. Kael stood by the whispering willow, not waiting for a traveler this time, but speaking himself. He recounted his journey of the past 4 days, eloquently and confidently, in English. His words weren't flawless. He still had an accent, a unique melodic quality to his speech, but they were clear, confident, and flowed naturally, imbued with his own personality and experiences. "I learned to listen intently," he stated, his voice steady, "then to repeat with purpose. I learned to embrace different sounds and rhythms. And most importantly, I learned to believe in my own voice, to trust that I could express myself effectively in English." As if on cue, a new traveler approached, looking a little lost, asking for directions to the bustling village market. Kael, without a moment's hesitation, gave them clear, precise instructions, his English words ringing out confidently, his hand gestures naturally accompanying his speech. "Go straight past the old mill," he explained, "then turn right at the ancient oak tree. The market will be just beyond the bridge, bustling with activity." The traveler smiled warmly, a look of genuine surprise and appreciation on their face. "Your English is excellent," they exclaimed, before thanking him and heading on their way. Kael's heart swelled with a profound sense of accomplishment and joy. The whispering willow had not only taught him to speak English, but had also helped him find his inner strength, his voice, and the confidence to share his stories with the world. He understood that the true magic was not in the willow, but in his consistent effort and belief in the process. Your 5-day challenge takeaway: transform your English today. So, what profound lessons can we glean from Kael's incredible and inspiring journey to English fluency? We've discovered, through his experience, the truly transformative power of shadowing. It's not just a simple act of repeating words. It's a dynamic, immersive process of absorbing the rhythm, the intonation, the natural flow, and even the emotional nuances of English. This simple yet remarkably powerful technique builds crucial muscle memory for your mouth and tongue, trains your ears to recognize and distinguish natural speech patterns, and most importantly, it dramatically boosts your confidence in speaking. It bridges the gap between understanding and actively producing the language. To make real, tangible, and lasting changes in your English-speaking journey, to truly unlock your potential, here's what you need to do now. Inspired by Kael's dedication and success, commit to daily shadowing, your non-negotiable practice. Start today, right now. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of focused shadowing every single day can make an immense, noticeable difference in your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Find audio content that you genuinely enjoy, engaging podcasts, interesting YouTube videos, captivating audiobooks, or even short movie dialogues. The key is to find something that holds your attention, making the practice enjoyable rather than a chore. Consistency is far more important than intensity when you begin. Make it a daily ritual, like brushing your teeth. Don't aim for perfection, aim for consistent progress. It is absolutely okay to stumble, to mispronounce a word, or to not get the intonation exactly right on your first, second, or even 10th try. The ultimate goal is consistent, dedicated practice, not immediate, flawless perfection. Every mistake is merely a stepping stone, a piece of feedback guiding you towards improvement. Embrace the process, celebrate small victories, and learn from every attempt. Embrace and explore different accents. Actively expose yourself to a wide variety of English speakers and accents. Listen to American English, of course, but also British English, Australian English, and even non-native speakers who speak English clearly. This exposure will broaden your understanding, enhance your listening comprehension, and significantly improve your adaptability when communicating with people from diverse backgrounds. The more sounds you hear and try to mimic, the more versatile you become. Speak your thoughts aloud. Make English your inner voice. As Kael demonstrated so powerfully, start narrating your own simple thoughts, observations, and feelings in English, even if it's just whispering them to yourself. Describe your surroundings, articulate your plans for the day, or comment on something you see. Make English a living, breathing language that is an integrated part of your everyday thinking and internal monologue. This continuous, low-pressure practice builds fluency and makes English feel more natural. Believe in yourself. Your voice has immense power. This is perhaps the most crucial takeaway. Your voice is a powerful tool, and you have the innate capacity to learn and master English. Every single word you speak, every sound you mimic, every sentence you form is a significant step closer to achieving complete fluency and confidence. Believe in your own potential, stay persistent, and celebrate your growth.